Hey guys, hope you're doing good. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do an interesting project using Google Sheets actually, and we are going to try and do some basic analysis, plot some graphs and analyze food order data. This is actually real-time Swiggy data. I've just made some manipulations to certain columns to make it not exactly Swiggy data, okay? We are given order date, we are given the city, we are given the user ID, then we have the name of the item that was ordered, the price of the item, and also what specific category that item belongs to. Okay, we're going to try and answer some business questions, do some analysis, build some basic graphs. Let's start out, like suppose you are asked a question, okay, tell me how many items were sold, unique items, right, that were sold. How would you go about doing that? Right, in Google Sheets you have a simple formula. You could simply say unique, and I could just select this range, right, this range of data. If you say unique, you'll get like actually all the unique values displayed here. So if I wanted to count the unique values, what I could do, I could simply say count unique, which is another function. This is like count distinct in SQL, and I will just select for that column. Okay, we have about 46 unique items that were sold. Okay, so this is a very simple start. Suppose let me just go to here and add another column, maybe let's say day of week. Okay, so we are given dates, right? This is 1st August 2021, and then if I scroll down, then you have 26 August 2021, 23 August 2021. This is August 2021 data. If you want to find the day of week, we can go with this weekday function. This is some basic manipulation, and we can choose this. Okay, and 1st August was actually 2021 was actually a Sunday, so day of week 1 means it's a Sunday. And now you can just copy this formula, right, basically, and yeah, like we, as you know, we have populated like the whole row, so we'll get different dates, right? For example, 29th, if it's 1, that means it was again a Sunday. 30th August is 2, means it was a Monday, right? How this can help, if you think about it, is this can help us, for example, see which day of the week helped us gain more sales and things like that, right? So just a basic data manipulation that I have done. Okay, now suppose your manager comes and tells you, hey, give me a drop down where if I select the city, I can get the total revenue we made, right? Suppose he asks you this question, how can we do that? So I just go here, right? First of all, we have like cities, right? So let's find like the unique values for cities, right? What all unique values are there for the city column again. So I just select the full range, and now you see, I think we have like a lot of cities, right? Let's see now, like if we have to put a drop down, how do we do a drop down? So you just go to data, you can go to data validation. Okay, and I can say just click on add rule, and I want it to be like a drop down but from a particular range. Okay, what is the range? So I want to select this, the basically for instance, let me just select this column, right click OK, and let's say done, and let me close. Now what all do we have? So we have all the cities, right? So we can simply filter for any city we want. We want Jaipur, we want Kochi, we can select Mysore and so on. Okay, now how do I do the total revenue? We can use basically a sum if formula, right? So you can say sum if, and what is the range? Range in the data, you have to again select this column, right, fully, and the criteria here, right? What's the criteria? It's important to know. Let me just scroll to the right again. So criteria is basically whatever value is in this cell. So I'll select that. And then the third argument is sum range. So I want to sum the total price, right, which will give us the revenue. And then I can just close it. So for example, it says Mysore gave us 71,550. If I have to select, let's say Chennai, then we get 13,450, right? So you can, your manager can filter for data. Coimbatore gave us 25,520. He can filter for this and see the, the range basically. Okay. Then let's do some further stuff using a pivot table, right? So for that, let me just select like all these columns. Let's go to insert, let's say pivot table, and I'll create it in a new sheet, right? So for example, let's add, let's say order date, and in values, let me say total price, right? Like total sum of price. And this is what we get, right? We have the data. So this is sum of price. Let me give it an alias name. This is total revenue we made. And yeah, we have the grand total as well. So for instance, if I have to, like, let's select these two and try to insert like a chart. Okay, as you see, like we get like, so there was a spike in the middle, right, around 15 16, and again it fell flat and it completely went out, right? So this is basically the setup. We can also go to customize. Let's probably open the vertical axis, and yeah, if you want to give an alias name, you can give. So here, let's say we can give minimum value is 0 and maximum value, let's say we can give like 2 lakh or something, right? Now the graph looks better. Maybe let's give an even a smaller value. Let's give 1 lakh. I don't think any city had more than 1 lakh. So if we give like this, yeah, I think the max was around 33,000, right? So this is even better probably. So we can see the trend, right? What happens is revenue is kind of, going down, then suddenly spikes around this mark, 13th mark, and then completely drops and tapers off towards the end, right? A simple trend we can see in terms of revenue, right? This is one cool thing we can do, right? So this is probably revenue versus time, right? Let me go back again. Let me insert another pivot table, right? Like let's okay, I should not have selected chart, right? I'll just remove this. So I just want to insert a second pivot table. Like let's do it in a new sheet again. What can we do now? Row, like for instance, we can add like say day of week in row. So I'll go to rows and select day of week. Okay, and then let's select in values total price, which is sum of price. That's the revenue we made, right? So we have 1 2 5 6 7. It's a bit weird. 3 and 4 are missing, right? Why is that the case? So 3 and 4 is basically what, Tuesday and Wednesday, and we I think we seldom have those dates here, right? To check that, you can probably go to filter and see here. And as you see, we just have 1 2 5 6 and 7. So 3 4 are missing. So there's no data for Tuesday and Wednesday. This was just to cross verify. Anyways, that's okay. So with this, we can also for example insert let's say we can try to insert even a bar graph, right? So we got a line graph. Let's go to customize. Let's scroll down, or we could also go back to the setup. We can select, let's say I want to see bar graph. Okay, now when I plot this, as you guys see what happens, so we observe that Sunday has the highest sales, right? And then 7 is Saturday, right? Saturday has the least. Like it kind of steadily drops over the week. Monday has the second highest, then Thursday and Friday have decent sales, but then it tapers off on Saturday, right? So maybe that means you need to push your sales a little more on Saturday. Maybe you need to give some sort of discounts, right? That way this can help, right? So this is one more graph you can plot. So this is interesting as well. So this is basically day of week versus revenue, right? Then what else can we do? I'll go back here again, and we can also see distribution of revenue across cities, right? For that, what can I do? I can go here and insert another pivot table. Let me create in a new sheet, and this time I want to see city, and I want to see in values total revenue, which is sum of price again, right? Let me change it to total revenue, right? And let me just select for instance the cities, forget the grand total. So I'll go here and insert chart. This time I want to see more like a pie chart. Let's see what we get, right? As you guys see, For example, Mysore contributes 18.7%. That's pretty high, right? Let's go back to our original data. Remember, we put like a drop down to see. So let's go and select Mysore here. So Mysore had 71,000, right? That's quite high. And yeah, I guess we can go back here. So that contributes almost 20% towards our business, right? So then, indoor contributes even higher, in fact 20% to our business, right? So these are very interesting insights you can quickly take away, right? Like if I just move this graph a little bit, right? So you can see like it's pretty interesting that Mysore and also indoor contribute a lot, right, towards our business. So again, a quick insight you can give your manager, right? As you see, this is for like city-wise distribution of revenue, city-wise revenue, right? So here we put up like a pie chart, then day of week we saw like basically through a bar graph. Then we wanted to see revenue over time across the month, how it was developing. We used a line chart as well, right? So this is pretty interesting, right? So the choice of graphs is also important when you're doing over time. Sometimes it's good to do like a line chart. Sometimes if you're seeing day of week, it's good to do bar graph. If you're seeing like across cities revenue distribution, maybe it's a good idea to use the pie chart as well. Okay. So that is what all this is about. So if I add a new sheet, and what can I do? Like we can also try and maybe copy the chart, right? Let's put all of them in like one final sheet. Let me say, for example, yeah, I think let's go here and let me just remove grid lines for now. So I'll paste one chart here. So total revenue I have, right? This is already a cool graph. Maybe, you can also adjust the size a little bit, right? So that you can see the full graph, right? Total revenue, this is by city. And I'll also adjust this a little bit like this. Okay. Then what else do we want to see? I want to see day of week. I can also, go here, grab this chart. I can say copy chart. Can go here and like paste it. So I have it here. So let me move it to the right side. So you can do something like this, right? So we see two graphs already. And revenue versus time. How is revenue developing over time? You can also copy that. And I can do copy chart. And then I can do a paste here, right? So again, I get it pretty big. So I can just make it smaller. Right now it looks a bit weird. So what can I do? I can just like drag it down maybe. Right, but at least we see like some sort of a trend. So now we have like everything, right? All the data. So this is like like if I just move this a little more up, right? We can see, I think, all the graphs. Like let me also move this a little more to the upper side, and we also see revenue, right? The third graph is a little bit down, but as you see, we can see all the developments, right? The same place. So as you guys see, I think it's a quick way to visualize few findings, like, and also as we saw, we leveraged some if data validation, created a new column, weekday, used unique count in it, right? Quick way to do some basic analysis. It's a very simple project you can use. I'm going to share the link of this Google Sheet in our description. Just use it, practice, maybe add more questions, try more things. This can be a good start, showcasing your skills using pivot tables, plotting graphs, and all these basic functions like sum if, data validation, and things like that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in another video. Hey guys, hope you are doing good. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have real data, real Swiggy data. These are orders made by me and my brother and also some of his friends. It's absolutely real data. We're going to try and analyze this data using BigQuery and try to see some insights. Okay. So this is one table we have. Like obviously we have the ID of the order and the items ordered in that. and whether the item was vegetarian or not. This is one. And the second table is the order data, like basically the order ID, what was the total amount spent in the order, what was the name of the restaurant, when was it ordered, the date or time of the order, whether it was raining that day or not. So I think Swiggy has something like a rain mode, and whether the order was delivered on time or not, right? So we have these metrics. We're going to try and analyze, answer simple business questions using BigQuery. This is going to be a very, very interesting project which all of you can use for your portfolio. So let's start with items, and let's start with some basic questions, right? For example, you want to know how many distinct items were ordered, right? Like name of items. How would you do that? You could go and say count of distinct name from this table. And as you see, 164 unique items have been ordered. Okay. I will save all these queries and I'll share with you guys, so you can also practice. I'll just remove this limit, right? So this is question number 1. Let's go back to the data again. Now let us think of something. Let us see what is the distribution of veg and non-veg items. So in overall, how many items were veg, how many items were non-veg? So what we can do is we could say is veg, and let's just count the items. Let's say count of name, and I can give it an alias name as items, and then I just need to group by whether it was veg or not. So group by is veg. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we get mostly veg items, right? 180 were veg items, non-veg was around 12 items. I think there's a small error here. I don't know why they have is veg equal to 2. Probably it's vegan or something. There's just one item like that. So this is just to see distribution. As you see, majority of the orders have come from veg items. So I'm going to save this as well. Just give it some space. So now that we have some is veg equal to 2, let's go and check what it is, right? I'm quite curious. Probably it's an error. How do you do that? So you'll say select star from table where is underscore veg equal to 2. Let's see what we get. Oreo brownie. Probably it's because of the fact that it's like a dessert. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is that anomaly, right? So let me just copy this query. So maybe this data is wrong or something. Okay, let's go back to the original table again. Let's do some more things. We found out how many unique items were ordered. Let's see how many distinct orders were placed. How would you do that? You would simply say count of distinct order ID, right? So these were the unique orders that were placed. Okay, we've made 95 orders. That seems quite a lot. Let me again go back to the table. Let's do something interesting. You have a lot of in non-veg majority are chicken items. Let's see how many items contain the word chicken. So select star from this table. How would you do that? Here we have to call the like operator. So we'll say where name like, let's say chicken, like this, right? Put the right spelling here. And as you see, there are not a lot of items, right? So basically you have chicken fried rice, chicken parcel, chicken sausage, crunchy chicken. About like 10 items have this name, right? So to find how many had chicken, let me also save this here. And let's go back to the data again. Let's do a few more things. All right. What are the other favorite items we order? Okay, you have gobi items, you have paratha, you have sev puri, you have masala puri and all that. Let's see, for instance, how many paratha items were ordered. So we'll say where name like paratha, right? Pretty similar to what we did for chicken. I personally like paratha, but we didn't order a lot. Probably that's a bit difficult to understand for me, but yeah, we didn't order a lot from Swiggy. Probably we ordered from some other food delivery company. But yeah, there are 4 items: paratha kurma, aloo paratha, and then some matar paneer and paratha, right? So this is another good question to answer. So now that we know this is done, let's see what was the average number of items per order, right? In some orders we make like 2 items, in some orders we make 3 items. So let's see what is that value. How would you do that? So what you can do is you can simply count the number of items and divide it by the count of distinct orders, right? So I think there were about 160 items and number of orders were around 95. Anyway, let's see. This is average items per order, right? Let's see what we get. So we have about 2.03. So on average per every order, we order like 2 items, 2.03 items. Quite an interesting question. Then most of this customer is ordering at least 2 items, right? So that is some insight for you as a company. So these are some of the questions we have answered using this table. One more interesting question we can answer is to see how many times each item was ordered, right? To see which is the topper. So let's say we'll do name and just count of star, and then just do group by items, right? Group by name. This will give us an idea which item was ordered a lot. As you see, a lot of items have been ordered only once. Let's say order by count of star, and then let's do descending. As you see, classic mac and cheese has been ordered 4 times. It is the highest. Then you have gobi Manchurian, paneer butter masala. I think it's everyone's favorite. So this has also been ordered 3 times. So by writing this query, we kind of know what this particular customer is fond of ordering, right? You can push your advertising campaigns accordingly sometimes. It's a very interesting question. So I'll also just save this query, right? So this gave us an insight. Okay, these items are ordered the most by this particular customer. Now let's move on to the other table, which is basically your order data. So here we have the order ID, we have the total amount spent on the order, the restaurant name, of course order time, and stuff like rain mode. Let's see what are the different values of rain mode. Like I don't think we usually ordered on like rainy days, but anyways, let's check. Okay, there is 2 and 5, right? So they have different rain modes. Maybe it's drizzling or high rain or something. I'm not sure. So there are distinct rain modes, right? So I'll just also save this query. And coming back here, so there are 3 types of rain mode. And I'll just go back to the original table again. Let's see how many times on time was delivered. So let's see the distinct on time. As you see, it's 0 and 1, right? Sometimes it's delivered on time, sometimes it's a little bit late, right? So it could be late because the restaurant took time to prepare. It could be late because the delivery boy took time to arrive to our destination, right? There could be a variety of reasons. Could dive deeper and further analyze these reasons and scenarios. All right. So now let's see how many distinct restaurants we have ordered from, right? So I'll just say count of distinct restaurant name. Okay, we ordered from 49 distinct restaurants. Wow, I think we do have an urge to explore various cuisine, I guess. That's a lot, right? Now let's take it one step further. Now that we know we've ordered from 49 restaurants, we want to see, is there a favorite restaurant? So for that, what can we do? We could simply say restaurant name and do a count of star, right? To see how many times we've ordered from each restaurant. Let me just remove this and let's do group by restaurant name. right? Okay, we have some restaurants where we've ordered twice. Let's do a order by count of star, and of course descending. And there you go. The Bowl Company is our favorite. We've ordered 12 times. Mansuk's is another restaurant which serves kind of North Indian and little bit of South Indian food. We ordered 6 times. It's pretty close to our house. Then Sangeeta's, we've ordered 4 times. The Table, we've ordered 4 times, and so on. So quick way to get insights. Okay, which restaurant is this guy's favorite or this customer's favorite, for instance, right? So I'll just copy this information also. All right, so that's like giving us an insight which is our favorite restaurant, where do we order the most number of times. So let me go back here and again let's say select star. So let's find some more insights from the data. Okay, let's see what was the month, right, like which had like the most number of orders, for instance. So we have order time. If you guys remember, how do you find the month from that? So you could say format date of, you'll say %y %m, right? This will give the year and the month, for which column we put a comma and say for order time, and then you go and just say count of distinct order ID, right? So we will know in each month how many distinct orders we have placed. And now let's do group by this value. I'll just copy this. And then again we can say order by count of distinct order ID, right? And do descending. As you see, the last few questions concepts are the same. We are answering different business questions. So I think the highest was October 2021. I think this was just post COVID. We were getting comfortable again with ordering outside. That's the month with the highest orders. And then of course pre-COVID 2019 July, right? 07 is July. We've ordered 5 times and so on. But as you see, yeah, predominantly we order 3 or 4 times a month. There are a lot of months where we have just ordered once, right? So it's probably like once a week. This can be taken like an average. So I'll also just copy and save this query, right? So this is a way to understand, okay, what's the frequency of the customer ordering, right? So this is not complete data. Last few months we don't have, but in the data we have, let's see what is the last order we have made. So for that we can simply say max of order time, right? Like the latest order that has been made. It's on 5/2/2022 February. I think I took this data last March or April. So that is the last order made according to this data, right? Like the maximum order time. So this will give us the idea of the most recent order basically, right? So that's another interesting question to answer. Now let's see, for instance, how much order total was made or how much revenue was made by Swiggy in like each of the months, right? So for that, what can we do? We can say format date, again, like just do the old thing, right? You'll say %y %m of order time, and you want to sum the order total, right? That's kind of like the total revenue they make. So I'll call it total revenue, and yeah, let me just bring this down, right? And then let's say we want to group by this, group by basically this month format, and also let's say order by, I think I shouldn't leave a space between the two, so I'll just say order by total revenue, and let's do descending. Okay, 6,000 rupees spent in 2021 October, 2021 May, 1890, right? That was peak of COVID, second wave I think in India, but yeah, we've still ordered a lot in that time. And then yeah, as you see, it's mostly 2019, and then yeah, I think after the first 6 it flattens out, like we spent less than like 1,000 rupees a month on Swiggy. So this is also a way for you to analyze your spending pattern to see where you can cut down cost, how much you're spending on Swiggy, right? This is a very useful query to do something like that. So let me also save this. So that was another, I think, question not only for Swiggy to answer, but also you personally to understand, where you're spending the most money and stuff like that, right? So let's go back to the data again. From a business angle, another interesting metric companies use is called as average order value. Okay, on average per order, how much do customers spend? This is a very straightforward formula. How can we calculate that? So you'll simply say sum of order total, right, and divide it, right? So total revenue made divided by the total number of orders, which is count of distinct order ID. This will give you something called as average order value or AOV. Let us see our average order value. Per order, how much do we spend on average? We spend around 293 rupees, roughly 300 rupees. And previously we understood we order approximately 2 items per order. That means per item per order we are like spending about 146-47 rupees. So basically 293 by 2 roughly. So AOV is a very good metric like companies want to understand to see how they can improve. So this is a very quick formula to find out AOV. Let's continue further. Let us, for example, try to see, for instance, like every year how much was spent on Swiggy, and also try to find the year-on-year change in revenue or something like that. This is going to get a little bit complicated, but let's anyways try and do it. So how would you do it? For example, we want to do it per year, right? So we can say year of order time, right? And then I just need to do the sum of order total as revenue. Let me give it a name, revenue. And then I group by year of order time, right? So I think this should work. Let's see. Okay, there's no direct year function, so we'll have to resort to our format underscore date only then. So we can say percentage y, I just want the year, right? And I will also do the same here. So let me just simply copy this one and put it here. Okay, I think this should work. Let's see. Okay, I think 2017 Swiggy was also pretty new. We didn't order much, and as you see, right, like all these years, and we have the information. Now we want to, for example, see year on year change in revenue. How will we do that? So first of all, to just get this data, I'm going to copy this query and save it. And then coming back here, now I think it's going to get a bit complicated. You might need to use the lag function or something, right? So I'll just put this full thing in a with statement, right? So I'll say with final as, I'll give it a name final, and I'll put this whole thing into a with statement. That's step number 1. And now from that final, so let me give this an alias name. Let's say year order or something. Okay, now what I want to see is, I want to see select year order, of course the revenue, and then also to find previous year value, we can say lag of revenue over, there's no need to partition by anything here, order by year order, right? Ascending order. This is basically nothing but previous revenue from final. So if I run this, let's see what we get. For instance, 2017, there was no previous value, it is null, right? 474 was the revenue in that year, previous value, nothing is there. For 2018, we know that previous value was 2017's value, which is 474, and that is what we are getting here. Let's move to 2019. We made 7484. Previous year is what? 2018, which is 3436, and that 3436 value we are getting as previous revenue. So now you could simply like subtract revenue minus previous revenue and find out, for instance, percentage change or percentage growth. Another commonly asked question in SQL interview. So do keep this in mind. Do understand the lag function. The same question, right? Suppose we wanted to rank the years. Say the first rank was given to the year which had the highest revenue. So what could we do? So I would just like replace this last part, right? And I could, for example, just rank, right? So I could say rank, no need to do any partition, and I want to order by revenue descending. And I'll give this an alias name ranking. This will give us an idea which year was the best. Year order. Okay. We have to say from final. I forgot to put that. As you see, rank 1 went to 2021, 11,343 rupees was ordered. 2019 was second highest, about 7484 was ordered. 2020 was low, probably because of COVID, but it gets the rank 3. So you could also do a rank. So I'll just put this here. And the same way, suppose you want to do the rank but per restaurant, right? What will change? You can simply replace this part with restaurant name, and obviously here I will group by restaurant name, and I'll change this also to restaurant name. And as we know, table has fetched the, since we have ranked this, let's also order in the final, right? Like let's say order by revenue descending to see rank 1. So bowl company, of course, we saw it had the most number of orders also, right? So bowl company comes first, then you have Mansook's at 2, McDonald's at 3, Domino's at 4, right? So this is the ranking for revenue for this particular customer. Which restaurant has he ordered the most? So I'll just copy and put this here. Okay, now that we have done all this, let's do something simpler. So let's, for example, see what money was made in the various types of rain mode, right? There was a column called rain mode. So I would simply say select star from this table again. Okay, and let's see the revenue distribution according to rain mode. So I'll simply say rain mode, sum of order total, and group by rain mode. Okay, most of the revenue has been made when 0 rain mode was there. Probably it was not raining. 263. Rest are like very minimal, right? So this is a good way to understand. Okay, if the customer tries to avoid ordering when it's raining or something like that. Okay, this is one interesting question to ask. Now let's go back to our other table, right? So let us say we want to see in each order what items were ordered, things like that. How could we do that? We could simply do a join, right? So I can say, let's say in this table I want the items, right? So I'll say a dot name, a dot for example, yeah, is veg was an option here, right? So I'll simply say from this table, then I need to join it with the orders table on order ID. So I'll say join, right? I can simply do an inner join here. So I'll simply say join B on A dot order ID equal to B dot order ID, right? And what else I need? I probably need the from B table, let's say restaurant name, and yeah, B dot order ID, and probably B dot order time as well. So I see, okay, for example, in this first order from Sri Gupta Bhavan, 2 items were ordered, Sev Puri and Masala Puri. Then from Shyam's Bombay Alva House in this same order, right, 3 items have been ordered, Masala Kulcha, onion aloo mixed paratha and also mixed vegetable raita. Okay, so we get an idea by doing the join. Okay, in each order what items were placed and like when they were placed, right? So this is the way you could join the tables and get a combination of this data. And then let's just do one more thing. Suppose you want to hunt for product combinations which are probably ordered together, right? You may not get insights sometimes, but it's at least good to try. In one of the previous videos also we have done something like this. I'll link it in the description, but let's try and do that. So you will use a concept called as a self join here. So for instance, I will say select everything from this table. Then I will join it on the same table, right? Join it on itself basically. That's why it's called a self join. On order ID, a.order ID equal to b.order ID, right? And I will simply say, for instance, a.name, b.name, and then concat of a.name, comma b.name. Okay, should have been b.name. Let's try and run this now. Let's see what we get. So we get name 1, name 2, and basically the combination, right? For example, so you have chicken fried rice, some BBQ ordered alongside naan. If I go down a little further, I think it'll be easier to understand. For example, you have gobi manchurian dry. In that same order, it was probably ordered with paratha kurma, then paratha kurma gobi manchurian, right? So you have these combinations. To just make it a little better, like we will have a lot of repetitions, I can also add the order ID, right? So I can say add a.order ID, and also to remove duplicates. Obviously I don't want the same item names coming parallelly, so I'll say where a.order ID not equal to a.name not equal to b.name. And also, since the reverse order will also come, we can add this extra condition, a.name less than b.name. So this will only remove the reverse repeats. And let me separate these two probably with a hyphen or something. Now let's try and run this query. And now we get, okay, chicken fried rice, some BBQ, and then naan. So if I scroll down, we get all the combinations. For example, in this particular order, right, 8, 6, 7, whatever, there were 3 items ordered. So chicken parcel, chicken sausage, this is a combo. Chicken parcel, paneer onion is a combo. Chicken sausage, paneer and onion is a combo. So this way you can find what are the combo products customer likes to order together, and then make some business decisions accordingly. So I have linked the link to this Google Doc where you can like grab the queries. I'm also attaching the data so you can try it on your system. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this video, stay till this point. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more interesting real data videos like this. I'll see you again in another video. Till then, take care. Today we are going to analyze my own Swiggy data, the Swiggy orders that me and my brother have made. We are going to use Python to drive insights. If you're ready for this video, let's get started right away. First step, I'm importing some packages as usual, pandas and OS. And I'm just checking the working directory, current working directory. And then I have these 2 data sets, items and orders. Let's see what they have inside. I'm just loading them using the read CSV command. And now let's have a look at the items data set. So it has the ID, order ID, the name of the item, and whether it was vegetarian or not, right? Simple. Let's look at the orders table. Orders table has ID, order ID, total order amount, which restaurant we ordered from, basically the date of order time, whether, rain mode, right? Like whether it was raining heavily, not raining like slightly, and whether order was delivered on time or not, right? This is the orders data set. Okay. So let's first reload the items data set, and we're going to solve some business questions. First question, we want to find the unique items. So in the items data set, as you see, we have a column called name, right? So what can we do? We can say items of, so we can say items of name dot unique. If I run this, we'll get all the names of the unique items, right? There are so many, as you see. But if I want to count the number of unique items, what can I do? I can do n unique. So we see 164 unique items were there, ordered by me and my brother. Then veg versus non-veg, there's a column called is underscore veg, as you see. Let's see the distribution. So I will simply say items dot group by. So I want to group by this column is veg, and basically count how many items were there in each. So I can simply say of name dot count. Now you see 0 is veg equal to 0, which means there were 12 non-veg items. Is veg equal to 180 items, and there is something called 2. I'm not sure what this is, but there was one item like that, probably a dessert or something. Then third thing, show items which contain chicken. So a lot of names are there. Let's see which items contain chicken. For this, what can we do? We can find if chicken is contained. So let's say new column. Let's say chicken found. Okay. And it's nothing but items of name dot string dot find of chicken with the capital C. Now let's see what is there in items. So we have a new column. So it will show -1 if there is no word chicken. If there is a word chicken, it will show the position where chicken was found. Now if I want to show the chicken items, what can we do? Could simply say items of, then inside we can say items of chicken found not equal to -1. Okay, that will show all the rows where it, chicken was found. And now you see, so chicken fried rice, burnt garlic chicken rice, butter chicken, all these are the items. These are the 12 rows where we have chicken found in the order. Then items ordered most times. So for this, what can we do? We need to count by name. So I will simply say items of name, and we need to group by. So we'll do group by name, and then let me just count the number of IDs. Okay. So we'll get we get like in ascending order. So let me assign this to a new data set, item new. And then I'll just reset the index. And now let's see what is there in item new. We get like the total, right? Now if I want to sort it by descending order, what can I do? I can say dot sort underscore values by the column, which is nothing but this ID, and then ascending equal to false. I can put that, right? And then I see, okay, classic mac and cheese we have ordered the most, then paneer butter masala with matar pulav 3 times, and so on, cheese corn wrap 3 times as well. Now we'll go to the orders data set. We need to count the distinct orders. Let's see what is there in the orders data set. Okay, we have this distinct orders. What would you do? I want to just find the unique order IDs, right? That will give us the answer. Dot n unique. So we have made 95 unique orders, as simple as that. Unique restaurant names. Let's just load orders table again. Restaurant name is a column. Okay. So again, what do? You simply go there and say orders of restaurant underscore name. Pretty straightforward. Dot unique. And we see all the unique restaurants. I think spelling is wrong. It's restaurant underscore name. We see all the list, right? We live in Chennai. So yeah, you see A to B, Adayar, Anand Bhavan, Sri Gupta Bhavan, Bombay Salwa House, lot of these. Restaurant with most orders, overall rank. So let's see. So we want to count the unique orders and do an overall rank of that. So how can we go about solving this question? So we want to say items dot group by. So first we want to do per restaurant name, right? So restaurant name, and I want to count the unique number of orders. So I can say dot n unique. So this will give per restaurant the unique values. And I think restaurant name, it's from the orders table, not from the items table. So I made the silly error. See, we get a number of orders in each restaurant. Let us say we call it order new again. Okay, and if I go back here and say reset index, cool, now we get order new value. I think I should have done this. Yes, now we get it, right? Now in this, how do we find rank? You can create a new column, order new of rank. And then we can simply say order new of, what is this? Order ID dot rank. We can do that. And you can say method equal to first. First is like rank. And I want to do ascending equal to false. Let's try this and see how it works. And now let's see order new. Now you get the ranks, right? I think this should be ascending equal to false like this. And now you get the rank. Okay. So if I say now order new of, let's see which restaurant gets the rank 1. Rank double equal to 1. Obviously bowl company, because we have ordered 12 times from that company. That's the most, right? That's the most. So it gets the rank 1. So if I sort this, I can say order new sort values by this number, right? So order ID and then ascending equal to false. Now I'll get bowl company, which has most number of orders, 12, gets rank 1. Mansukh is second with 6 orders, that's rank 2, and so on. So that is how you do rank, right? It's kind of like rank function in SQL as well. So we have ordered most from the bowl company, 12 unique orders. Finally, we want to find revenue change from 2020 to 2021. So let's load the orders table again one more time. Okay, so we have this data. Now we have the date, but this is, let's see what data type it is right now. As you see, it's object data type, right? Order underscore time. So we'll first try to change that to like date time. So for that, I'll just say orders of order underscore time equal to the same thing. And then you can say dot apply of pd pandas dot to underscore date time. So you can convert it. Okay, now if you say orders dot info, you will see order time is a date time, as you see now. Okay, so from this we can get the year. So orders of, let's say, year is nothing but this orders of order time, right? The converted one to date time. You can say dot dt dot year. And now let's see orders. Now you'll see the year, right? 2022, 2018, and so on. Now we have the year, right? And revenue is nothing but sum of the order total. So let's try the next step. So we want to group by year and first find the order total, right? So let's call this orders to new data set. So I'll say orders orders dot group by, I want to group by year, and I want to sum the order total. And then of course, as usual, reset index. And now let's see what is there in orders 2. Now each year we get the total orders, order total, basically the revenue. And we want to find the revenue change from 2020 to 2021. So we have all the data here already. What else can we do? How do you find change between 2 years? So we can create a new column here, orders 2, and let's call it previous sales. This will be nothing that orders 2 of order underscore total, and we have to find the previous value, which is like lag in SQL. We can do that using dot shift of 1. Now when we see orders 2, so obviously 2017 474, there's no previous value. 2018 3436 was the total, previous year value was 474, and that is what we get, and so on, right? 2022 total was 1677, previous was 11,343, and that is what we get here. So from 2020 to 2021, we have increased, right? From 3,442, we've ordered 11,343 totally, right? There's been a big jump. So let's see percentage difference. So I'll say orders of percentage diff. And how would you compute this? So you would simply subtract orders total 2 minus previous sales and divide it by previous sales, right? This is how we could calculate. So as you see, it is more than tripled, but let's see the values. By doing that, we are finding the percentage difference. And as you see, it's 2.29, like more than a 229% jump, right? From 3442 to 11,343, right? That's the percentage change. In 2019 to 2020, you see it's negative because it's dropped from 7484 to 3442. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite item? Which have you ordered the most of times in Swiggy? If you enjoyed the video, stay till this point. Do subscribe to this video, share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more practical Python, SQL, Power BI and Excel projects. Till I see you in the next video, have a nice time. Bye. Take care. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another interesting video. Today I'm going to keep it short and simple. We're going to try to use my own Swiggy data to build a simple Power BI dashboard. Nothing like rocket science, very simple and quick dashboard. This Swiggy data I've already previously used and solved using SQL, like some business questions, but today we're going to try to use a visualization tool like Power BI. Okay. So I'm going to go into new report. I'm going to get the data. There are two CSVs. One is called as item CSV that has the item data. Some of you might have seen this before. If you see, it's like the order ID, the name of the product, and was it vegetarian or not. Okay. So this is one. So I'm going to click on transform data. Right. So this is one of the data, and I'm going to add the other one, which is obviously the orders. Okay. So if you see orders data, it contains like the order ID, the total money spent in the order, the name of the restaurant, also the time of the order, like the date and stuff, and also whether it was raining or not, and then whether the order was delivered or time or not, right? Very, very simple stuff. So I'm just going to bring both the data here, right? I'm not going to combine them, merge them or anything, just leave them as such. Okay. So we have these two data sets. So let's take this, right? So I'll go to close and apply. Okay. So now I'll have like multiple data sources and it's loading, right? They're all getting connected to the model. Let's give it a few seconds, and there are no relationships that I've created. As you see, both the data is independent. So now if I go and see the table view, so I have items and I have orders, right? So we go to orders, I can see all the columns in orders, and if I go to items, I can see all the columns in items, right? Now, if I were going to analyze my own data and what would I want to look at, I would build a simple dashboard, right? let's do it step by step. So I'm going to go back to the report view. First of all, let's say we want to give it a heading or a title. So I can insert a text box, okay? And then I can just drag it, right? I can adjust it, right? And I can say Swiggy dashboard, right? Nothing complicated. You can type Swiggy dashboard. Okay, I think the spelling is good. Make the text as big as you can. Maybe make it bold, right? Select the text and make it big, make it bold. If you want, center it. And then also you can come to effects and give it a color, right? Like Swiggy is orange, so maybe we can give that kind of color, right? So simply you can set up heading like this, right? Now let us see what we want to see. Let us see overall, I want to observe the total orders that I made, right? The total unique orders, right? And I want to just see this number, right? So I can go here and click on scorecard, okay? So now once I have the scorecard, I can just adjust and drag this, right? The size of this, make it as small as possible. And then within this, I want to count the unique order ID. So I'll go to the orders and then just click on order ID. And over here, I can count the unique order IDs, right? Count distinct. I can also give it a name, right? Rename it for this visual unique orders, right? As simple as that. And just click here. And now you'll see, okay, the total unique orders I have made in this data is 95, right? Very, very simple. Now let us go back to the data, right? To the table view, and let me see orders. Okay, I have the restaurant name and I have the order total, right? Like the revenue I've generated or the money I've spent. Now let us say I want to see restaurant names and the total revenue per restaurant, because many restaurants I would have ordered multiple times, right? So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back here and just, I can select anything I want. Let's say I want to see it like a bar chart or something. So I can select this, right? And now I want to see it by restaurant name. Okay. And I want to see the sum of order total, right? I can rename this to total revenue or something, right? And I can rename this to restaurant, right? Just to make it more readable. So now we will see total revenue by restaurant, right? As you see, if I expand it, make it bigger and bigger, we have all the restaurants and the revenue values, right? Let us say I don't want to see every value. I want to see only the top 6 or 7 values. We can put a filter, right? So come here, total revenue is there, right? And then you can select whatever type of filter that you want, right? So for example, filters on this visual, if you want, you can do basic filtering, right? Like select specific restaurants, that is all allowed. Now here I can put total revenue is, let's say, greater than a certain number, right? Let's say I put 300 or something, for instance, and I apply the filter, right? Now we're going to get mostly restaurants, as you see, with revenue over 300, right? I can make this number even bigger, like let's say 800. Let's see. And then we are left with few restaurants, right? So it looks like Bowl Company seems to be the highest, then Mansook's, then McDonald's, then I've also ordered a lot from Domino's Pizza, right? So these options are possible. Also we could do top N, right? If you want to see only top N restaurants, so I can say top N and say top 6, for example. And what do I want? By value, I want by total revenue, right? So I can drag back this sum of order total and apply this filter. Okay, now I'll get only the top 6 restaurants by revenue, right? As you see, it's Bowl Company, Mansook's, McDonald's, and then, few other restaurants, right? These are the top 6 restaurants in terms of revenue, right? So I can just adjust it, keep it here, right? Move it to the middle. Let us say then I go back to the data, and with respect to items, I want to see the item I have ordered the most, right? Which is the most popular. So I can, count the order ID, or I can just, let's say, count the name of the item, right? There are multiple ways to do it. So what I can do, for instance, I can go here and search for a table. Okay, right? So there are multiple ways to show it. This is one quick way to do it, right? So I can select table, and then from the items table I can select the name, and I can drag the name for a second time, but this time I want to count. Okay, now if you notice here, there's the name and then there's the count of the name, right? So if I want to see the highest value, for instance, what can I do? Right, same way, in the filter, go to the count of name, and you can select whatever value, right? Let's say it's greater than, I don't know, like I can put 3 or something and apply the filter, and then I'm left with only classic mac and cheese, right? That seems to be the highest, right? So this way you can showcase the one that is obviously the highest, right? So like this is the most popular product from my end, and of course, if you want, you can change the names and stuff, right? You can rename this visual as popular item, and you can say order count or something, right? You can give any name that you want. So we can leave it at that, right? So this is like the most popular item I have ordered, classic mac and cheese, and it seems like it's been ordered like around 5 times, right? So that is how you can select the most popular item. Now let's move further. Let's go back to the orders data. Let's see what else we want. Let's say I want to see how many orders were on time, right? Like just counting how many times it was like on time. So for that we can use, you can play around with the charts here, right? So there is this kind of gauge chart that you can use. So I can bring the gauge chart in here, right? Let me place it in the middle, and then over here I can add the data field. So I can do the count of order time, right? So it looks like if I hover over this, the count is like 95, right? On time is what I wanted, not the order time. So I think I made a mistake. So sum of on time, if you see, it looks like 60 times it's been on time, right? The maximum value is like the total number of orders, which is 95. So for maximum value, I can drag the count of distinct order ID if I want, right? So I think it's selecting the count of distinct order ID, and you can rename this, right? Total unique orders or something. Okay, you can give it whatever name you want. Just play around, right? And here you can say total on time, total deliveries on time. Okay, I think it didn't still change. I'll rename it one more time. Total on time deliveries. Okay, so once you write the name, you can just click this and it will work. So you can have like a small gauge like this, right? So it's like 60 out of the total 95 orders were on time, right? So this is done. Now what else do you want to see? For instance, I want to see, I think there's a column vegetarian. What is the count, right? So I can just insert any normal visual, like let's say I want to do like a bar chart. Can keep it here. I'll select is veg, and then I will just count the name, right? So there is something called 2. I think it should be 0 or 1, but I think there's 1 or 2 values that is 2. Is veg 2, maybe it means a dessert or something, I'm not sure, which is a bit weird. But you can do a simple chart like this, and of course you can also rename this visual, right? Total items, and then you can say by food type or something, right? You can give whatever name you want, right? That's not the important thing. So total items by food type. So here I can clearly see, like for instance, the majority of the orders, like total items in that 180 seem to be from food type 1 is veg equal to 1, which is like vegetarian food, right? Obviously we order mainly vegetarian food. I am like completely vegetarian, but I think my brother's friends, they ordered through his account some non-veg items. That is why we also have is veg equal to 0, right? So this is also done. Now what else can we look at? Let's say I want to look at the total revenue, right? But by year, right? Because I think If we go back to the data, there's 2022, 2021, 2019, 2018, 2017, like multiple years, right? So for this, we can also try to play with a different chart. Maybe let's insert a pie chart, right? So I'm going to bring this in here, right? Fairly simple. And what do I want to see here is the total order total. So I can drag this here, right? Sum of order total. And then I want to see it by year, right? So for year, what I can do, I can go into order time, can go into date hierarchy, and I can select the year, right? I can bring the year in here. So now I can see this by year, right? As simple as that. And this I can change it to total revenue, right? Total revenue by year, right? A simple pie chart, and I can see, for instance, 40% of the revenue that I've given Swiggy or spent comes from 2021, and then also 2019 was a strong year, 26%. The other years, 2020 was low, maybe because of COVID, and obviously 2018 is also quite low, right? 2022 also there was COVID, so it's also slightly lower. So 2021 and also 2019, right? They seem to be the highest. So this way you can see now the total revenue by year, right? So as a person, right, I want to know which restaurants I spent the most money. I have this, how many total unique orders I ordered. I have this, which is the most popular item I have ordered. That is also there. Then veg, non-veg distribution, right? That is there. Then it looks like 60 out of the 95 deliveries were on time. And then I got the split up by year, which year I spent the most money, right? Nothing complicated, right? A few bar graphs, few gauge charts, few column charts, and a pie chart. That's it. And a normal table with some filters, right? Your dashboard can be as simple as this. So I can go to view, and if you want to change the colors, play around, you can also select, right? You can change it to something like this, right? Whatever fits for you, right? Of course, you can also adjust the sizes. Maybe if you don't want this color, I'll go back to the plain mode. Maybe this is too light, right? So you can decide, right, what you want. Because for instance, you want the Swiggy theme to be colored, like, you can basically play around, right? So I'll just move this around. I'll just make this maybe slightly bigger. We can also adjust the size of this, right? And also make it bigger, right? All this is up to you, right? You have total revenue by year. Maybe you feel this is too light, you can go for something else as well, right? Something like this, right? This is all completely up to you, right? You can move this up. You can also expand all this, right? And over here, go back to the effects and put your color if you want, right? So I can select, I can give effects, right? It's all depends on what you want, okay? So I'm just going to select a color which is close to that and just leave it as such, right? Of course, you can make it capital, small, right? All that is fine. This is a very simple dashboard. Anyone can use, right? Any stakeholder, very simple. Total revenue by restaurant, by year, on-time deliveries, veg versus non-veg, total orders, right? All the numbers are in there, most popular item. So that's it, right? Sometimes you don't need to overstrain, overcomplicate it. Simple dashboards like this will do. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in another video. Till then, take care.